A discourse community paper may be different than a typical research paper many students may be used to. The typical argument research paper asks the writer to take a position, usually considered pro or con, and find support for one side or the other. Most issues, however, are not merely two extreme sides, but are comprised of a spectrum of viewpoints. While the issue itself, the what, may be important to understand, it is also crucial to understand the who, those communities who contribute to the conversation on the topic, and therefore shape the likelihood of how we address and resolve the concern. For example, in a paper about obesity, we may find out a great deal of information to help us better understand the topic itself, the what, including how body mass index and waist size are used by physicians to determine obesity, who and how many are affected by obesity in the U.S., as well as other information such as possible causes and varied ways to avoid obesity. As we seek to learn more about the topic, we start to ask why it is debated and who is in debate about it. This debate may focus on why obesity remains a problem, or how we can decrease negative effects resulting from it. In a discourse analysis paper, it is important to look at which communities are involved in the conversation regarding these issues. Discourse communities are groups who communicate regarding a particular issue, topic, or idea. Each community may work in a particular field that has some relation to the topic or have a particular experience or expertise with the topic. They may hold in common certain goals, aims, or other aspirations, and they typically contribute this information through particular means, certain genres, and using a language or method of communication that is typical for them and their audience. So, for instance, biologists and physicians may share their perspectives on causes and ways to address obesity. They may use scientific and medical terminology that are not generally familiar to the public, but that provide useful methods for them to communicate to each other easily, effectively, and precisely. Politicians and others within government may focus on laws governing the use of trans fats or requiring calories to be posted at fast food establishments. While they may use scientific data in support, their language about laws may be more familiar to others who create and read laws, and their communication may appear in government publications and trade journals. Patients and activists, on the other hand, may speak more colloquially about their personal experiences. Their mode of communication may be narrative and full of details about their experiences dealing with obesity. They may seek to include examples that can inspire the general public to better understand their day-to-day lives. Unique backgrounds, different types of language, and different means of communication typify these different communities. It is important to note that within each of these groups, views may also vary, so not all patients or lawmakers may see eye to eye, though they may still use their particular group's language and means of communication to provide these perspectives. In a discourse community analysis, we forefront the information about who it is that is speaking about this topic, with the what fading to the background. This allows us to better see how the communication by these groups are affecting the controversy, as well how facts are interpreted, by whom, and why these groups communicate may significantly affect the management and outcome of the issue. Once we identify the communities, we can begin to analyze the relevance, reliability, and credibility of the views through their support. We may find that some communities support their view through research, while others use historical comparisons. Some may provide what appear to be logical or common sense ideas, either textually or visually. How believable and accessible this support is may affect how much weight or power the information has within the conversation as a whole. We can find these perspectives and conversations in multiple locations, each of which can affect how the information is perceived and what weight it is given. Research articles or government data may appear in peer-reviewed journals or government reports and may provide information crucial to the conversation. But these sources may not be viewed or understood by the greater public. Interviews, opinion pieces, or satiric articles may appear in more widely circulated sources, such as TV or radio interviews, blogs, or in online forums. A tweet promoting an unsubstantiated rumor may be more well known than a 10-year research study. The genre and location of a source may be important factors to consider in determining how the views noted there affect the conversation. Additionally, we need to consider the purpose for which perspectives are being shared. Are such views provided for informational and analytic purposes? If so, we may view them as being more objective than those provided to persuade or to entertain. Similarly, information aimed at prevention or critique may be based on a more limited range of support, or at least may be viewed that way. Since every text is different, it is important to consider purpose alongside other factors, such as the kind of support provided and the community providing the information. By understanding and considering not only the what, but focusing on and analyzing the who and all the variables attached to that concept, we can better appreciate the significance of not just what is at stake, but how the rhetoric surrounding a controversy affects our understanding of the topic, and therefore the challenge of resolving the concerns about it as well.